Good afternoon, Barroom Network, Barflies. How we
Yeah,
doing? This is
we're
Jordan.
doing great, man. We're doing great. We're doing great. Barroom Network, welcome everybody. Welcome to us. The Bears lose 35-32 to the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry about the technical difficulty. We love that opening. When that throws us off a little bit, but one of the most exciting losses probably in Bears history. Because there's a lot to take away from it. Justin Fields breaking records. Real quick, thanks for Jordan joining us, brother Jordan, and Danny Shimon from Draft on Tap joining us for sure. Barroom Nation, Bear Nation, thanks for joining us all around the country, spending time with us real quick, going around the room, 30 seconds apiece. Danny, real quick, instant reactions to the game.
This is my season summed up, guys. That's what I told you. If as long as the Bears are Justin Fields is going on upward projection, wins and losses are going to be secondary to me. This was a game that they could have won, probably should have won. Hats off to the defensive, the staff, not say defensive staff, but the staff in general, namely Matt Eberflus, and getting this team ready to play. But defensively, they are horrible up front, and I think I tweeted that enough about that during the game. So tough loss, but Justin Fields looking better each week.
Jordan, thanks for joining us, taking care of the technical things, being the wizard behind the curtain for us today. We definitely appreciate you being here, brother. Real quick, 30 seconds. What were your instant reactions to the overall game?
Of course, Tyler. I'll try to be quick. Appreciate you having me. Barflies, apologies if I sound nasally, just trying to get over a common cold. Most exciting Bears game that I think we could ever ask for. Nobody likes to enjoy an L. I'm certainly upset about that. I think you hire Matt Eberflus to provide stability for this team, so I am extremely disappointed in the way that the defense performed, but I also understand the offense they were going against. The way I would finally put that is, if you're going to lose a game, let's walk out of it feeling like Justin Fields is one of the most dangerous weapons in the most important position of all sports. I don't know how anybody could deny or argue with that today.
I agree with you 1,000%. And this was a game. Let's take a step back for a second. The Dolphins are a playoff Super Bowl contender in this year. This is what this is what all the analysts are saying. The Bears went up against a playoff caliber team, and we fell short 3 points without a pass rush, in my opinion. Without, respectfully, a single pass rush. I don't think we got a single sack this game. And if not, we got a couple roughing the passers. But the Chicago Bears showing that they can actually play competitive football. I don't know if it was Getty just letting it loose, but in my opinion, Justin Fields, this was the most comfortable I've ever seen Justin Fields from start to finish. And even when the game was on his line, he said, no, I'm going to run this ball. I'm going to put this in my hand. He passed to over 5 different receivers. He was our leading rusher, breaking the NFL record with over 170 rushing yards with 15 attempts. Danny, what does this do? Justin Fields, all the nonsense that happened this week. We lost some veterans. We lost some people. Roquan Smith, Robert Quinn, Justin Fields becoming the leader of this football franchise. He already was becoming the leader of the franchise team. What does this do in front of the home in Chicago? Saying, guys, get on my back, and I'm going to run this game. I'm going to run it. I'm going to lead us to the promised land. Danny, what does this game do overall for Justin Fields going forward?
Well, for me, again, it's just his next step in terms of maturation. I mean, for me, third week in a row, I tweeted it out. Third week in a row, Justin Fields has been the best player for the Bears on offense, the most explosive player on offense for the Bears. And he is now becoming slowly but surely, I feel like, the face of the franchise. This has gone from a team that was built, traditionally built around defense and a running game, and now to a team that's going to be centered around this young, dynamic quarterback. So. But the only thing is, he needs to get, again, we've been talking about this week in and week out, just get the help around him, right? We're talking about offense, right? Talking get help around him on offense, but he's taking whatever they have there and he's making it work. Whether he has to run a ball for a record for a quarterback, 178 yards, or throw 3 touchdowns, which he did today. So, he's making it work with whatever he has around him. That's the true mark of a good quarterback, where he takes guys around him, whatever he's around him, and makes them, elevate their game. And that's what he's done so far. And now, you got to build around defensively on this team and to get a nice complete, roster around him. But again, what this shows you is that the Bears are going to be hopefully in every game because they can score points now on offense. The third week in a row, they put up, almost 30 points, over 30 points in a couple of games, and almost 30 points in the other run. So, offensively, the Bears with Luke Getsy and his play calling and his creativity. Today we saw Cole Kmet getting more involved in the offense. He had 2 touchdowns, plus he had that under the center, carry for 1 yard for a first down. He had the end around jet sweep to Cole Kmet, getting him more involved in offense. So slowly but surely, we're seeing. I think Jordan, you tweeted out Getsy is in his bag of tricks today, and he was pulling out things more and more. And I think once we see Chase Claypool get a little bit more comfortable in the offense, I think we'll see
keep
him
it on Justin. Keep it on Justin.
Keep him going there more as well. So, but again, it's just building the team around Justin Fields and seeing him get better and better. And again, I've said like week in and week out, this is your future right here, guys, and it's got to be exciting. The loss sucks. The loss sucks, especially where a game that you feel like you should have won or could have won. And the only thing is starting the referees right now. But anyway, in terms of this game, they could have won, should have won. But again, Justin Fields is getting better. He's becoming that explosive weapon that now the whole league has to pay attention to.
Absolute facts. And I think this was already the notion going out the past couple of weeks. If there was a redraft of this draft class, Justin Fields would probably be the top quarterback taken in the draft, seeing how everybody else was doing. But also, Danny, definitely agree with everything you were saying. But with Justin now taking that step, throwing guys open inside the zone, like that's what we saw. I saw a couple balls go high, but Justin just learning how to be comfortable. Danny, I saw Justin planting his foot. I saw Justin, even when it was a play action run, he still had his shoulder square, fooling the DBs, fooling the DNs. They didn't know if he was running or not. That was phenomenal. It's been phenomenal development over the last 3 weeks.
And he's taking the check down, Tyler. He's taking a check down throws now. He's not trying to force downfield, not trying to hold it on to a little bit too long than he needs to. He understands that. You know what? Get the ball out to the guy. You don't see anything open initially downfield. You don't have an offensive line that can block for very long. Just get the ball out of your hands, get it to a check down guy. And today you saw more and more of that.
Yep. And that's what we saw. And that's exactly what we saw. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. Instead of trying to force it to Darnell Mooney, who's double covered downfield, get it to the open guy, move the chains. Jordan, coming over to you, brother. Cole Kmet. This was like kind of dared him. This is a local kid in front of his family, friends, and high school friends, being able to show up and show out. Not just catching touchdowns, but running through people. Jordan, how big of a game did Cole Kmet have today?
I mean, Tyler, Danny, this is all I've been begging for. And I mean, I was being a little bit of an asshole on Twitter. I was retweeting things I've been putting since last year. I've been saying that to me, Cole Kmet, if you look at the measurables, if you look at their play style, is incredibly similar to Jeremy Ruckert, the Ohio State tight end that Justin Fields felt ever comfortable with when it got down into the end zone and would pin the ball on that big body. And now you see Getsy. I cannot look. I've been incredibly harsh on Luke Getsy. I have to give that man his roses, formally apologize, praise him, because this is a guy that I felt like I was watching an offensive masterpiece today. You saw the QB run game, the QB sweeps, QB power incorporated. You saw the sprint out option plays. You saw a mixture of screens, the usual zone plays. It was all there. And that is how you have to play to keep up with this defense from Nate Boyer that is all about sending the dogs after you on cover zero and manning you up and saying, we think we're better than you. Prove otherwise. And that is all about Luke Getsy. I cannot give that man enough praise today. And it's for Cole Kmet. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. Give the man an opportunity. Stop forcing him to sit in and block. Get some better offensive linemen out there. Give your wide tight end an opportunity to use that big body, to body people up, to bowl over DBs. This is what you've needed to see. I'm glad we're finally getting it.
Jordan, and just to go along with that, there's been a lot of people that say things before they actually get to see evidence. He's not Kelsey, he's not Mark Andrews, he's not these guys, but he's not a guy until he gets the opportunity to be those guys.
Thank you.
And so now that he got the freaking opportunity to catch the ball, and he caught the ball, which establishes trust with his quarterback. So quarterback can come back to you. So we saw Cole Kmet also blocking out there. But we talked about this before, Danny, me, you, and John and I said, give this man a chance. He caught the ball, and he wasn't afraid to go for the first down. And so he's becoming – I guarantee you he's going to be on a fantasy waiver wire this week. I bet you, everybody who said he's not a top 5, top 10 tight end, I bet you they'll be looking for him this week on the fantasy waiver wire. But so definitely a shout-out to Cole Kmet for just doing the dang thing. That was pretty awesome. And so, Danny, coming back to you real quick, obviously the biggest news of the week, Chase Claypool. The Bears got a legit number one wide receiver, in my opinion, which also takes pressure off Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney wasn't really ready to take over when Robinson left. Everybody can't handle when you have a number one DB on you. Chase Claypool coming over, showing some quick physical ability. Danny, what was your quick impressions of Claypool's role in the offense as he's obviously still learning?
Right, and that's the thing. Is he obviously still learning? He had a couple of plays here and there where he can't, a couple routes here, but I would pump the brakes in terms of calling him a number one receiver right now, Tyler, just because he hasn't proven that. Right, he's got the physical skill set. Did a film breakdown earlier this week in terms of what he provides you. Provides you a guy at 6'4", 240 pounds of 4.4 speed, 40-inch vertical. He's got all the measurements you want in a number one type of receiver. He's a guy that's got the body control to be able to contour, make adjustments to the ball down the field, which is what you love to see. But look, you saw today, he'll have some concentration drops. This is a guy that'll kind of look the ball in his hands right away, and then just kind of let a couple balls fall on the ground, which kind of irritates you a little bit. But he is a weapon, no doubt about it. He's an upgrade in terms of what they had on the outside. Just seeing that lineup today, where they had Claypool, Mooney, and N'Keal Harry out there, along with whether it's Pettis or St. Brown, it's like that's some speed, some size, some ability. Unfortunately, we'll get back. I guess we'll get to St. Brown dropping that fourth down pass later on. But what Claypool gives you, it gives you a freak basically out on the outside, something that this offense did not have, something that this offense can use to again, we talked about Getsy, another kind of weapon here. He can kind of scheme open and utilize his strengths in this offense. But in terms of just going back to your original comment in terms of number one receiver, I think the number one receiver is still not on this roster yet for this Bears and for this team and Justin Fields. But he's a nice addition, nice piece to the puzzle.
Correct. And when I say number one wide receiver, I mean one of our most experienced wide receivers. And so number one, as in a big body that can handle physical capability from a number one DB, because we've seen what Darnell Mooney has not really been able to do when all the attention is on him. Now, it doesn't matter. Who cares? Number one, number two, number three. Let's just win the damn game. Excuse my language. But at the end of the day, you could when you say N'Keal Harry, Chase Claypool, you're talking about big guys over 6'3". That is phenomenal. That's what we need. Guys who can catch. And Danny, to your point, let's talk about the refs. That was pass interference. That was pass interference.
Pass interference on Claypool. That was not pass interference. That was not pass interference on Eddie Jackson. That was intentional grounding on Tua, because 30 was who was in the vicinity. 30 was blocking, wasn't even looking for the football. So it's like that right there. It's like that just drove me crazy. It's like then the referee with the non-call on the non-pass interference on Claypool, he was standing right there. He's right. He sees his arms around Claypool and he's holding him from going up for the football. How is that not pass interference? But yet Eddie Jackson, who has his head turned around for the football, it was incidental contact with the receiver down the football field. They call that pass interference, but they don't call this one. That just blew my freaking mind. I almost lost it in terms of my control here watching this football game. Is like, how do you miss these two blatant calls going in opposite directions?
Game-changing plays, and like props to the Bears. We did have a bunch of penalties that equaled up to like close to 90 yards, but the biggest mistake obviously was the block punt that happened. That sucks. But besides that, we only punted twice, 3 times out throughout the game, which shows how much of a juggernaut we can be. I mean, it goes back to Justin Fields. I'm gonna talk about Justin Fields all week, because this is what we've been waiting for. And this is why, and I talked to Danny and John kind of call me about this a little bit. But this, when I heard the name Getsy and I see Justin Poole's attributes, and I have I'm like, the Bears could become in second place in this division. I didn't expect the Packers to be this bad. Can you guys confirm that the Packers lose to the Lions? You guys can confirm that to me. But I know Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions. Did they lose?
I don't know. I don't see the scores here in front of me right now, but I know they were losing, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the Lions beat them 15-9.
Yeah. And I know the Vikings squeaked out a victory versus Washington, but I know that. So Minnesota's horseshoe still there.
Very good. And so this is what I'm saying. It comes back to how tough we are in the division. Still a lot to go around. Let's take it over to the defense just for a little bit. Danny. In place of Roquan Smith, they moved Nick Morrow over, and we brought in Sanborn. We like Sanborn. I was a Sanborn fan in the preseason. I thought he was pretty awesome. How do you think the linebacker core did with the new development?
Well, the one thing that they improved on today was the run defense, right? Miami didn't run all over them, but I don't think Miami even tried to run all over them, because I mean they could pass at will. Tua had all day back there in the pocket. There's a couple of times where in the second half where Justin Jones finally showed up and he started making some plays in terms of providing some pressure. But the Bears, again, another game with no sacks by the front four, by the defense in general, I should say. And at one point I started questioning Alan Williams, like, all right, dude, I know this defense is based strictly on the front four getting there, providing the pressure, but it's not working. And Tua's picking you apart. He's picking you apart in those zones. It's only so much you can cover, right? You have quick talented receivers with speed galore. Bring some pressure. And then I think that last drive where they finally forced it, they brought pressure, and I think he forced Tua into an incompletion, and they were able to get the ball back. But it's again, that front four is I tweeted out, it might be the worst front four in terms of entire football. I mean, right now they just cannot generate any pressure. That is right now my number one priority. Before it was defensive tackle, now it's defensive tackle, defensive end. You need to hit that hard, whether it's free agency or whether it's draft. That's a need for this, a big crying need for this defense. And again, no pressure. Linebackers, again, if your front four is not getting to the quarterback, making the quarterback move his feet, right, or hurry his process, linebackers are going to be sitting there just kind of catching whatever they can catch. So Sanborn, I like the kid. Moving him to middle linebacker, we'll see how that works out. Morrow is the natural fit, if you will, at the weak side here. And I think once Adams comes back from his IR stint, he's going to be he's going to slide right there. And in the strong side, I think you'll have a formidable linebacking core. Obviously not what they were with Roquan in there. So we'll see how this goes. But that front four, that I don't know what they can do other than just design some pressure packages, bring some more pressure. But they're not getting to the quarterback. And they are not going to be getting to the quarterback in upcoming games unless they bring some more pressure.
Jordan, your opinion of the front seven?
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is something, and I'm not trying to sit here and just wrap my stuff, but I do 10 takeaways after every game, and I'm doing live tweeting as I'm watching the game. Something I talked about very early on that Danny touched on, I'm glad we see the game the same way in this respect, is, look, you have to decide. I get it. The D-line sucks. Front seven, you don't have the pressure. You don't have the names anymore. I'm all for you selling off some of the names and devoting it to Justin to make sure that this is an offensive team. But this is the reality. If you know that you have a talent deficiency there, then I need you to choose Alan Williams. This is why you were brought in. This is why Flus and all that cold staff was brought in. I know it's not – you can't ask a Tiger to change their stripes. But I need you to determine, do you want to die slow or do you want to die fast? And as long as you want to let Tua sit in that pocket and ask that secondary to run out there for 6-7 seconds trying to chase down the Cheetah and Jalen Waddle and Mike Gesicki and asking that front forward to not get home. God, he was even dropping 3 at sometimes, and I get it. Sometimes you want to do that, but not if you can't get a single ounce of pressure. So I need you to choose to die fast, send the blitz, send the house, send fire zones, and if Tua can prove to you that he beats the blitz, then so be it. You'll take it and you'll die fast that way.
Exactly.
But thank you. I mean, Danny, please, if you want to elaborate, you can. But that to me was the key issue. And let me say one last thing, Danny, and then it's all you and Tyler. At the end of the game, what changed? They weren't even sending cover zero, but they started to deliver a taste of Nate Boyer's defense back to that offense. Right. What if we mug the A-gaps? What if we send simulated pressures and creepers? You don't know who's coming. All of a sudden, Tua starts getting skittish. Where was that the rest of the game?
And so
as long as it's a one-score game, I can see why he didn't want to bring the all-out blitz. But once you got to the point where it's like, it's 3rd and 11. It's like I had no doubt that they were going to convert. Miami was, because the Bears are going to bring only 3 guys, probably maybe 4 guys, and they're going to drop back in zone. And Tua's going to have all day, and he's going to find a guy open and convert. So that's the things like. There's certain points. I'm not saying you got to bring blitzes every single 3rd down, but pick and choose, disguise your coverages, and then bring, whether it's Britzker off the edge or Kyler Gordon from the slot corner, or even straight up linebackers, Morrow or Sanborn. You got to change things up, and you got to put some pressure on these quarterbacks, especially an undersized quarterback like Tua, who's pretty much immobile in the quarterback in the pocket. He's not immobile totally. He's not a statue back there. But he's a guy that, undersized, you get pressure in his face, you mug the A-gap, you bring pressure off the edge, and, you turn some of those 3rd down conversions, you cut those drives short, and next thing, the way your offense is scoring, next thing you may have a, 7-10 point lead on the Dolphins, and now they're kind of feeling the pressure and trying to, play from behind there as well. So that's something that I really was disappointed in terms of what Alan Williams decided to call this game today.
Hey, Jordan, if you can do us a favor, keep an eye on any questions in the chat. If you're in the chat, thank you all for joining us. I mean, it's a loss and it sucks, and I gotta stand up for my brother John, who's not here with us. Wishing him the best. We don't want to find the positives in a loss. We did lose, and we don't want to edify losing. But this is a great growth, as Danny would say, for our football team in terms of confidence in our offensive line. For our quarterback, for the quarterback position to have this much, to be that much of the offense was pretty awesome. But going back to the defense, I played at a high level defensive competitive football personally. And so the issue that I had, Jordan and Danny, with sending 3, you were still in zone and they were still converting.
Yeah.
You sent 3 and we still didn't stop them. That's the issue. So why were we not in dime nickel coverage and still had zone on the backside? Because they were still converting. So that was the issue I had with that. And so I'm going to trust the NFL coaches in that aspect. But we saw Vildor get lost up. Vildor's hamstring might go. I don't know. I don't want to talk negative about him. But covering Tyreek Hill is not an easy ball game. But Jalen Johnson, once again, teams don't attack him. So what did they do? They attacked our soft zone. I don't know if we didn't want to expose our DBs to too much man coverage, but when we went man in the last quarter, we actually saw them actually stop because Tua was perfect for most of half of the game. And so when we switched out of the zone, that's when I started to see we actually had chances to get into those third downs. And so time of possession, the Bears destroyed it because we were methodically moving down the field. The first half of the game, the Dolphins were converting on first and second downs all the time until we made some type of defensive adjustments. But going back into our secondary now, we already talked about Eddie Jackson played pretty decent. That was a horrible play call. Danny, if Vildor is out, hamstrings can be iffy. Where are we going? Houston Carson had a really good play in my opinion. He's been a hometown. He's been a favorite for us for some time now. If Vildor can't go, Danny, where are we going to fill that slot?
Well, you got Jalen Jones, number 31, who's come in there. He actually filled in for a couple times where Jalen Johnson was out, and he's been pretty decent. I think he actually took over once Vildor got out of there, and I think he held up accountably pretty well. He wasn't, again, this defense. You cannot criticize the secondary of the Bears because they had Tua had all day to throw. We just covered that basically in terms of no pressure up front. But I think Johnson fills in there, and then for me, guys, Tyler, I know you're Mr. Positive and you think the Bears can win every single game. But you know what? Look at their schedule. Other than Buffalo and maybe Philadelphia, tell me a team with this offense, as long as Justin and the offense continue to kind of an uphill trajectory here. Tell me a team that if the Bears get half a decent defensive effort, who they cannot beat on their schedule. So that's the thing that's encouraging is once you have a team that can score offensively, and as long as you can give those. Whether it's a turnover or obviously stop with the block punts, giving those up. That was the key there to the game today. That was basically the difference maker here in the football game. But if you can play mistake-free football, give yourself a solid effort on defense and kind of limit the opponent within about 20 to 24 points or less. You have an offense now, guys, that can put up points, that can score 25 or more, almost 30 points on some damn good defenses.
So exciting.
Do you know the ranking of Miami coming in today? I think they're like a top 10 defense, were they not?
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about, you're talking about a team that certainly they've had their issues. I mean, Pittsburgh and Kenny Pickett gave them a little bit of trouble, but this is a team that made Josh Allen look ordinary a couple weeks ago.
So with a team like Miami, and then you go up against Dallas, right? And you put up 29 points against Dallas, could have been over easily 30 points against Dallas. You put up 30 points against the Patriots and Bill Belichick. I mean, you're an offense now that can put up points. Defensively, guys, Allen Williams, Eberflus, get in there and just give us half an effort. I know you're not playing with a full deck. I know you lost your two more experience and probably best players on defense, but you have a secondary that can cover, but they can't cover for 8 seconds back there. All right. So give them a shot, do something up front, whether it's playing stunts, playing games, whatever you got to do, bring pressure like we talked about, and give your offense a chance to win you football games, because now you've gone from a team that, couldn't score initially to a team that can't be stopped sometimes from scoring. So it's like, now you're an offensive team. Now let's support that and let's get some victories here. And I think once, like I say, other than Buffalo or Philadelphia, I don't see a team that the Bears cannot beat remaining on their schedule, unless you guys disagree.
We're going that way. We're going that way to the third half of the schedule, because I think I tweeted out maybe a couple weeks ago, I saw the Bears getting up on a potential 5-game winning streak. But I didn't see Roquan Smith being traded. I didn't see that coming because there was a couple plays in here that I would have saw Roquan Smith would have definitely had. And but shout out to Ryan Proles for making a tough call. And I actually want to give a shout out to the brother Laro and with the Theory Pride crash. You guys remember him from Bulls 1-on-1. And I was emotional after the trades. That sucks. I don't want to see my guys traded off. But Laro just bringing that reality to it. At the end of the day, the Bears have 9 picks and over $100 million in cap space. And if our offense is playing like this, we just went up against a top 3 NFL offense, probably the best wide receiving core in the NFL, and we only lost by 3 points, and we had no sacks. That's super impressive.
And you gave about a touchdown on special teams. That too.
Yeah.
So
and not to mention the stupid calls. And so without the special teams play, the Bears we'd already had the lead. We would have already had the lead without the muff punt touchdown. And so we got although I could have, but the Bears are more competitive than people thought. And this is kind of why I foresaw the Bears being this year, which is why I put money down on them to win the division, Danny.
I'm not gonna do that, Tyler. Come on.
No, I did that. No, I did that because when I see names and I see attributes, I'm a player. Like I lift. I actually like when you're physically in the game and players' attributes, I expect you to beat a person to point A to point B. And so it's a tough call, but I expect Getsy, like Danny, the last 3 games, I'm actually seeing Getsy put together something different. It's not Mike Tice. It's not Mike Tice. Throw the ball to Marshall.
I think what they're doing. Go ahead.
He's actually developing. He's actually scheming guys open, which is what Kyle Shanahan, which is what these guys have done over time, Danny.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Ever since the Washington game where we had the whole kind of keep handing the ball off and just kind of put Justin in this little bubble and not let him. Once they opened it up and they started off with the quarterback running, right? And that once that opened up a whole bunch of little things here for the Bears offensively, right? And now you add a kid like Claypool, again, not a number 1 receiver, but a talented receiver, a guy that's got a skill set, size, speed, catch radius. He's a guy that can make, like I said, plays down a football field. You got a big body like N'Keal Harry. You add obviously Darnell Mooney today. We see him the last couple of weeks, getting more involved offensively. Today he goes in the end zone with a touchdown. Cole Kmet, you guys mentioned him. 2 touchdowns today. I think you obviously we have the running attack with Montgomery and Herbert. So you got weapons here and there, guys. And you got Pettis, who, well, obviously he's not a great receiver, but he gives you that added dimension of speed and quickness in the slot, possibly there too. So you have some weapons, and what I've seen is get to do a great job because Fields is such a threat in terms of his ability to run with the football and gush you. Great example today, 178 yards, a record for a quarterback in terms of rushing.
That's the most in the NFL, I believe.
Looks like we have the coach coming in here.
We got head coach
trying to get it.
Had a 106 rating, passer rating. Rush for a TD, had 3 passing TDs. So obviously a huge step for Justin Fields, in the franchise today. So that was really good. A lot of good aspects to look at, for the football team. This is our 4th consecutive time we're rushing the ball over 225. So that's obviously a very big positive. We were 50% on, 63% on 3rd down, which is really good too. Obviously we brought in Mooney, had a really good day. Had his first TD for the year. Cole Kmet did a nice job. Claypool had his first, had a couple receptions, getting his feet wet. It's good to see him in there. So that was really good. Obviously defensively positive takeaways are, the run defense. The run defense was better. It wasn't perfect. They had some runs come through there a couple of times, but overall I thought it was better. I thought Sanborn did a nice job where he was, where he needed to be in the run game. Same thing with, we moved obviously Nick over to Will. So that was an adjustment for him. So I thought they did a nice job with that. We were facing, obviously really 2 good receivers today, with the top, 2 of the top 5 receivers. And we needed to do a better job against those guys of jamming, disrupting at the line of scrimmage. I didn't think we did a very good job of that. And also getting guys up underneath them the way we had planned during the course of the week. We needed to execute better on those items. But like I said, a good hard-fought battle. We came up short today, and I'll open up questions from there.
3 straight games where your offense has put points up on the score.
Right.
What to you is the significance of what you guys have done the last year?
No, I just think that we're really maximizing our strengths and minimizes our weaknesses right now. And that was going into that bye week. We wanted to really focus on that, look at our roster, and making sure that we did that. And I think we're doing a lot of good things in protection to help ourselves move in the pocket, and giving some sight lines and vision lines for the quarterback that he likes. That is really good for him, and he's doing a great job with that. He still, obviously has the ability to use his feet, when things break down. We saw it today on a few third downs, which just from me being a defensive guy, in the past, that's very difficult. You have to, send 5 guys. You have to have a guy for him that limits your coverages. So it creates a lot of situations, and sometimes you'll send more than that just to fill up the gaps. And so it's a problem. So he's been really good at executing. I think we've been really good the last 3 weeks in third down. We've been really doing a good job of executing there to keeping the drives alive. The time of possession has been really good, for our football team where we are right now. So that's been good. I think in the first half, it was like, we had it for 20 minutes, I think. So just doing a really good job of progressing the offense.
He's always been fast. He's always been a good runner. Just
right.
Why do you think he's been so much more effective lately? What is working for him right now?
Well, I think that when you have the design runs the way we have them, I think it sets them, we have the sweeps and the powers and the counters and the misdirections. And then you have the ability to, our runners didn't have the numbers they usually have today, but they've had great numbers, and having that 1-2 punch and really the third punch with the quarterback to be able to run the ball that way, I think it's very difficult for the defenses.
His passing the last few weeks, his production hasn't been really high, but the efficiency, what are you seeing in that element of his game that looks right to you?
Yeah, just as like we talked about before, just his pocket presence. He feels more comfortable back there. His platform, he's in balance. He's looking down the field to throw the ball, which is a dangerous thing for the defense, and he's progressing that way.
What's your vantage point, John Rod? Yeah, obviously it comes right near you, but what did you see on that entire season?
Speed. Yeah, I saw speed and his elusiveness. And then once he gets into the open field, he runs away from pretty much most people. And he did it right there. And I think it was, I want to say Mooney, am I right on that? Had a really nice, smart, shield block on that particular play. And that was really good to see.
The Dolphins to have the ball twice in the fourth quarter with a chance to go down and put together a drive. What was your vantage point on what caused it to break down, and just how valuable the experience is? It's just be in those moments.
No, it's great. It's great to put them in the moment to win the game. And like I told the guys, in the locker room, I said, guys, just keep working, keep having determination, get tighter as a group. We're building the football team, and they understand that. I know everybody was disappointed, but we were right in it at the end. Those experiences are invaluable for our football team to be able to be in those moments.
This may be a better question for Marv, but did you notice any difference in how you were defended having a guy like Chase Claypool in the Knicks compared to beforehand? Did they do anything differently just with his presence?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to. I mean, again, I have to look at the tape, so I don't really know that right now. But I think when you have big type receivers like that, like Harry and Claypool and St. Brown, you have different types, and then you got Mooney inside. I think it creates issues, for the defense for sure.
Man, one of the plays that really hurt you guys was the pass interference call against Eddie Jackson.
Okay.
After you guys cut it to 35-32, what did you see on that play? What was your opinion of it?
Well, again, it's like, like everything, you can agree to disagree. You're from my vantage point, it looked like it was a clean play. But again, I wasn't all the way over there on the other side. So, I know the side judge or the back judge in that particular case, they thought it was, and that was their opinion. They threw the flag.
And defensively, did you guys just not feel like it was smart to blitz those guys? It seems like you guys been pretty solid and get you on the line hill or a while.
Yeah, just what I said before. I thought we needed to do a better job of jamming and disrupting, getting guys up underneath. When you single up guys and you play single high, it's a hard transition for those DBs. If you put them in that situation all the time. So, we obviously got to do a better job executing our plan.
Been in the NFL for a long time. How special is this run that Justin Fields is on now, and how special is what we saw today?
No, I think it is. I think it's special. I think we're building, our football team. Like I said, we have a young football team. We're building upon that. And the centerpiece of that is the quarterback. It's the way it is in the NFL. And talk about toughness and grit and the ability, to persevere through a lot of different things. obviously, the start of the season, he was feeling his way, and now all of a sudden, the last 3 games, he's really taken off, and we're excited about that as a group, and we're excited about that, for the Chicago Bears and the franchise.
His success as a runner, improving his confidence as a passer, are those related?
I do. I think it opens up a lot of things. I think the way we're using them now with the different quarterback runs and the different designs that we're doing, I think it's really good and really, really smart.
Do you compartmentalize the two? You're talking about losing, and you're talking about Justin Fields taking big steps forward, though. Do you separate those two things as, yeah, you're taking losses, but there are big steps being taken for the future?
That's a good question. And, obviously we focus here and now, so obviously the loss hurts very much. But after the performance, it is what it is. We lost by 3, so now what are you going to take away from it? What was the positive things that we did? What are the things we need to correct? Let's correct those. Okay. And then let's take the positives and build upon those. And that's how you get better as a football team. And we're going to continue to do that. So, we have to do it offense, defense, kicking. To win football games, you got to play complementary football in all 3 phases. And we didn't do a good enough job of that today. But there were certainly some aspects of the game that we like, certain parts of the game that we like, certain parts of our team. And we just got to build upon those and correct the things that we need to correct.
Ellis was inactive today.
Yeah.
Decision making on that.
Yeah, it's just really about special teams. It was we looked at our roster, our cover teams, and we thought that we needed to have other guys up for our cover teams. And with Dante Pettis doing a good job with the punt returns, we just thought this week that was the right thing for us to do. And also based on the receiver position, we thought it was the best thing to do.
You get to this last one. What were your opinions on Jack Sanborn?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, in the run game, I thought he was really good. I got to go back and look at the pass, but I know in the run game, when the ball's right there in front of you, he was where he was supposed to be. He's an instinctual player. He's physical, and I thought he was around the ball in the run game for sure.
Thank you.
Yep.
Head coach Matt Flus just telling us what we need to know. Everybody's just excited to see the growth of the overall football team, and I just love how he just shoots it to us straight. Real quick, Jordan, what was your thoughts about Coach?
Yeah, let me go ahead and bring a question in here because let's just start with where Coach Flus ended it. What's everybody's thoughts on Sanborn today? And I'll start, and of course we'll go around Tyler, Danny. But to me, this is exactly what I would expect from Sanborn. The guy I think of is when Sanborn was at Wisconsin, he had JoJo Domann, Lucetta. This is a guy that really kind of was the glue of that linebacker core, tying those guys together, really good discipline. He would allow those guys to be shooting off like rockets and be able to fill the gaps and take care of the spots for them. So what that really ends up looking like is today is, I'm sure, Danny, you'll probably agree, I felt like it was evident in the first series. All of a sudden, I'm not watching linebackers try to backdoor every single block. They're sitting there trying to stack and shed on guys and shutting down the run. And now you look at it like, here's my only issue with Sanborn. He's not a killer athlete. I'm not expecting him to drop and all of a sudden be some true great zone defender like you'd see a Fred Warner or, even a Bobby Wagner. And that's okay. This is where, and we'll end it here so I can shut up and let you guys go. But I just personally didn't love or agree with the method of, well, we just wanted to jam and disrupt those receivers at the line. That's a hell of an ask for your DBs to try to press and jam a receiver that with 4.3 speed, if they get by you, you're toast and you're giving up 6. I would much rather have said, play your single high, back them up, force them to dink and dunk you down the field rather than sit there and try to man them up. So anyways, that's me.
So you make a couple points, Jordan, but when it comes to Sanborn, I'm an underdog guy. You talk about you give me an undrafted guy that gets an opportunity, like you just never know what they're going to materialize to when they finally get those opportunities. Some of those guys work harder because they're not expected to start. They're not expecting just people to show up at their house. And so I'm actually to see how Sanborn shows up in this role going forward throughout the rest of the season. And so, but Danny, real quick, just your final round. What your thoughts about
For me, I like Sanborn. I think what you lose athletically, putting him in there as opposed to, like, say, a Roquan Smith, you gain in terms of instincts. This is a very instinctive linebacker. He likes to play a physical brand of football, like Jordan touched on, in terms of him taking on some blockers and stacking and shedding. He's a rookie guy. He's an undrafted free agent. I wasn't expecting him to come in here today and light the world on fire. He did make a nice play, I noticed, albeit he was trailing from behind, but he was able to trip up Tyreek Hill from behind. and stop him short of the first down there. So that's the one thing where I really noticed him, particularly well, making a nice play there. So he didn't really stick out in terms of bad plays. But again, I mean, Miami threw the ball so many times. They only rushed the ball 23 times for 77 yards. So I think that run defense kind of stepped up today after being gushed last week by Dallas. So was that because of the switch of linebackers? Or was that just a switch in terms of philosophy defensively up front? Are they going to go all balls off to stop the run, or was just Miami saying, you know what, we can kill you with the passing game. We're not going to try and run the ball on you that much. Only had 23 rushes the entire game. So Sanborn's a kid again. Physical limitations are going to be there. That's why he was an undrafted free agent, but he's an instinctive, smart kid that if he continues to grow, a middle linebacker has a potential, opportunity to kind of cement a role there, depending on what they do in the offseason. But worst case scenario, he's on his football team next year as well. He's like your fourth or fifth linebacker, worst case scenario, and a guy who's going to be, like I said, a demon on special teams. That's how he made the football team. So expect him to come in today and light the world on fire. I think that was a bit too much. But again, we'll see how he progresses. Hopefully he'll get the opportunity, stay healthy, and continue to progress week in and week out. But defensively, I mean, they have to do something. We touched on it earlier. They got to do something in terms of providing pressure on that quarterback. Whether they're getting gushed by the running attack, or they're getting sent there and providing no pressure at all, and the quarterback's picking and choosing in terms of where receiver is going to go to. So that's something that Allen Williams and Eberflus have got to go back in there and kind of determine what they're going to do here going forward.
And so when we talk about Sanborn, this wasn't just Sanborn. This goes for Nick Morrow as well. When playing the passing lanes, there were a couple of passes that I thought that could have been deflected, that could have been intercepted. That was just my thoughts. We got Justin Fields coming up. Okay,
he's ready.
Justin comes on.
I paused it. If you guys are just go ahead and finish your point, we'll start out Fields as soon as you're done.
No, I was going to say, if we're going to play the passing lanes, there's a lot of opportunities for picks and interceptions. But we got Justin Fields. Let's rock and roll. Thank you.
Sure thing. Let's do it.
How about your individual performance today? What's your
Yeah, I felt good. Credit to God, of course. Without him, I wouldn't be here, and I felt like we played well today as an offense. O-line blocked great. Receivers, did what they needed to do in the passing game, downfield blocking. So, I think everybody did their parts today.
Touchdown run. Darnell said you were looking for him initially. Could you just take us through kind of your vision of that whole play?
Yeah. We were expecting man on that play. They went with the motion to man, and on the snap they went to zone. So, I was looking for Moon, stepping up in the pocket, looking for Moon. Right when I was about to throw it to him, he turned around. So I kind of had to pull the ball back. And, at that point, just kind of instincts took over. And, of course, at the long run. And then, of course, he made a great block downfield. So, yeah.
How does it feel for you after set the record?
When did I find out? Actually, I saw it on the billboard for the Bears rushing record. So, that's when I found out.
What does that mean to you?
It means a lot, the amount of Bears quarterbacks, that that's been here. The franchise has been around for a long time. So, I'm definitely honored for sure.
You know, the league's single game record to Michael Vick's record.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just credit to God. Like I said before, I'm just it's all because of him. Not really because of me. He's blessed me with these gifts, and I'm just happy to use them.
How does it feel for you after the way your rookie season went, and so a lot of the hard times during that you went through, to now feeling it starting to click?
Yeah, I think I'm just growing and getting better each and every week, and my main goal right now is just to continue to do that. Continue to trend up, and each and every day I practice, just keep getting better, and better, and that's really all you can do. So, yeah.
The play fake on the commit touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
What's the secret to selling that as hard as you go?
Yeah, it's just a part of the play. We've had that play in since camp, so we're just working on that ball handling, and of course, selling the fake. The running back has to sell it too. So Khalil did a great job on that. Something we talked about earlier in the week. So just great execution all around.
On the last drive, you took the deep shot to Chase. Did you have a view of what you saw on that play and whether he was pulled like we talked about?
Yeah, I wasn't sure, during the play, but after I saw it on the billboard, it was definitely after sure. But just missed it. Can't do anything about it. Just got to move on to the next play.
They have the ball twice with a chance to go down maybe the tide or win it. What's your standpoint on how you guys are producing that, and what's the value of the experience of just having those moments?
Yeah, I mean, we always get situations in practice. So, each and every week we go through a 2-minute situation, and, we practice that. So, of course, we like to capitalize in that situation when we do have a chance to go down and score, go down and tie the game. But, just got to, execute on those big plays and, make big plays. So, yeah.
What was it like having Chase out there with the secret goals?
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a great job this week, studying and preparing for the game. For the plays that he was in, he did the right thing. So, I think the more, reps he gets, the more comfortable he's going to get with the offense. And, of course, the more details he'll be with, each and every route.
His play calling felt like it was pretty deliberate to try to spread the ball around, especially early on. For Cole Kmet to get involved that early in the red zone, what kind of threat does that give you now?
Yeah, I mean, Cole's a weapon, sure. Every time, he gets the ball, he runs hard. He puts his pads down and, tries to run through guys. So he's a big guy. He's like 6'5", 260 or something like that, 265. And, we definitely love getting him the ball. He's a great player and a great teammate, for sure.
You run the ball successfully a ton of games in the past. They didn't feel different today. I mean, it kind of looked like you're running, you couldn't stop them.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of just evaluate, the players during the week, their lateral movement, especially like the DNs and stuff like that. So the guys that I'm reading, kind of evaluate that, their speed and stuff like that. But I just try to just run and not take that many hits. So yeah.
Is there a throw off for them?
Which one?
There's an end around the Mooney from left to right. You gave it to him. It looked like he rolled out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be a little trick play, but of course he didn't have time. But I was definitely looking for the ball. I was hoping I would just see the ball come up from behind the line of scrimmage. But of course he did the smart thing on that play and just ran the ball. So
On the touchdown passes are now with the look you guys got. When did you know that was scored for you?
When did I know that was the score?
And just in terms of when Singleton's got the break.
I mean, yeah, that's just man-on-man matchup. The guy over him, he was already inside leverage, so Dante did a great job, protecting, the safety from the ball, and of course we had great protection up front. So really couldn't ask for, a better play call in that situation. Kudos to the guys up front, protecting their butts off all day.
Your mind is the significance of 3 straight games where you guys got north of 28 points and moved the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just, keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And like I said, each and every day I practice, just keep getting better, focus on the little details, focus on the little things, and, continue to grow.
How do you feel about taking losses, but at the same time taking steps forward individually and as an offense?
Yeah, I feel like, this loss, you just got to take the positives out of it. And, you also got to, go back to the film room, look at, what you can improve on, what plays you can improve on and stuff like that. And just, just keep working and keep going.
You've been very efficient as a passer in the last few games. Are you looking for more production out of that?
More production as in like
more yards, more.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm definitely looking for more yards. Every time I'm passing the ball, but just trying to, put the team in the best position. I can put them in. Of course, just trying to stay on track. First and second down, just trying to make it to third and manageable for my team. I mean, we've been great on third down. I think in the past few weeks, so we can keep doing that. We can keep having success.
You two more. It might be a little early. Did you notice any difference in how they defended you guys with Claypool on the field? Like if he provided presence that kind of affects the rest of the way the rest of the game looks?
No, I don't think they did, too much different. I've seen them in the past, where, they've had, 2 guys that were guys like Jamar Chase. They sometimes have, Xavier Howard, follow a receiver, but, I think they pretty much just played their base defense out there. They mixed up the coverages a little bit on us, but, all in all, just pretty regular.
So what do you feel like you've proven here the last several games?
I think, as a team, we've, proven that, we can put up points on the board. We're great at running the ball. In the red zone, I think we've definitely improved on that, after, that Thursday night game where we couldn't score the red zone. So, just like I said, just consistent improvement, and just getting better and executing in, certain situations.
What about individually?
What was the question again?
Improving individually.
Just everything. My comfortability in the pocket, just trying to stay calm when a bunch of chaos is going on around me, and just trying to lead the guys to touchdown drives each and every drive.
Appreciate it.
There we go. There we go. Yo, that is our freaking.
Chicago.
That's our franchise starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears, ladies and gentlemen. The same gentleman. Hold on, Danny. Hold on, Danny. 1 second.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got you, bro. I'm gonna swing it to you in a second. This is the same guy weeks ago that they were saying the fewest passes in NFL history. This is the same guy, a bum, a bust. This is the same guy. I can't believe this guy drafted this guy. This is the same gentleman. All right, we all know he had to do his yoga and his breathing techniques. We all know that. But I'm saying it's like when Neo found out he was the one. Yeah, if you know what I'm at, if Neo, that's what I see in Justin Fields right now. This is a man who's like, you know what? I'm ready to step it up. And I'm not talking about just the attributes. I'm talking about leading from the front. It's one thing to say the right thing. But it's another thing that's telling to his teammates, hey, I'm studying my playbook. Get on my back, because an example is better than an opinion. And this dude has come and he stayed humble. He stayed in his playbook. He's selfless with his teammates, and he is a dangerous. And a couple of weeks ago, I compared him to Lamar Jackson from the aspect of, Danny, when you listed all those wide receivers, and we have a huge, great running back tandem, but now the person checking the wide receiver, you got to check for Justin Fields come out the backfield. This is propelling. Danny, I can't wait for Draft on Tap, bro. I cannot wait for your show. And the reason why is because the next 2 years, the growth of this team with this man at the helm, I'm beyond hype. Danny, please come on back, brother. What you got?
Yeah, the one thing is you see Justin not only getting better on the field, but you also see him off the field, right? You see him taking that leadership mantle. You see him running with it. You see him becoming the face of the franchise. And one thing right there, real poignant there, it was a slight thing where they asked him, how is he getting better offensively? He said we are getting better offensively, not just he didn't want to point it on himself. He wanted to include his all teammates. And that might be a small thing that you pick up here and there in his speech and his talking points after the game. That's a key thing. That's a leader taking over. And I think Justin knows that he is now the face of this franchise. He is the most explosive player on offense right now. He's their best player on offense right now. And I think as he goes, this offense will go. And then now to what he's done is he's put the NFL on notice, like guys, the Bears are playing 11 on 11. They're not playing 10 on 11 anymore or 9 on 11. They got a guy in the backfield that is just as dangerous as a running back, just as dangerous as a receivers on here on the outside in terms of, relatively speaking to what they have right now currently at receiver. But it's this is a guy that we have to game plan for. We always have to keep an eye. There was a one scramble where he got a first down. They had a spy. Miami had a spy in the middle of the field, and he still beat that spy to get that first down. So that's a kind of explosive ability you have here. The main thing is the one thing that I want to touch on here real quick before we get off here tonight is I like this combination of the offensive line. I know they gave up a sack later on. I think Braxton Jones gave up back-to-back, gave up pressure, and he gave up a sack. But I think this is the unit that I would go for going forward, minus injuries, right? I think with Whitehair back there, left guard, I think obviously if Lucas Patrick comes back, I'd put him in at center. But I think if not, this is the lineup I would go with here and just let this team ride with this lineup. Because like I said, as long as defensively you can hold your opponent to under 24 points, I think offensively, Justin and the team now have proven they can put up points so they can beat you. And, Detroit's coming up next week, and I think that's obviously a winnable game. I think that's a game that they can go on. And then
we ain't there yet, Danny.
No, I'm just saying, this is the team.
I love the excitement.
I'm going ahead. I'm just saying this is a team now defensively. You give us an effort. You give us at least hold up a point with all under 24 points. We can beat almost anybody on our schedule. So that's what I'm trying to make a point here is it's all because of Justin Fields and not because of anybody else. And those people that you mentioned earlier, Tyler, the guys who are kind of calling him a bust, I've got receipts and I'm kind of coming after all those guys, but I'm going to wait till the end of the year when I see the final complete body of work by Justin Fields. But those guys, they better not come out here to start, have heaping praise on Justin Fields because they were the same guys who wanted to jump ship and wanted to dump this guy and call him a bust. But not even looking at what he was playing with and who he's playing against in terms of opponents and what their strengths were and all that stuff. So I got receipts. I'm coming for those guys. Don't worry about it.
I'm with you, brother. Sorry, Jordan. Sorry for the delay, Jordan.
No.
Your delay on Justin Fields, bro. Excuse me. Your response on Justin Fields, please.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like I said at the top, I don't know how anybody could watch the game today if you watched it from start to finish and think that for some reason the Bears don't have one of the most dangerous weapons in the game at the most important position in all of sports. I mean, like, look, let's give you another example. They're playing against the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill definitively is one of the most dangerous weapons in the NFL. He plays receiver. You watch somebody just as potent playing the most important position in all of sports, but beyond just the NFL, for the Chicago Bears, and completely pantsed and embarrassed that Dolphins D. And that Dolphins D is not – look, this is the reality, and this is the best part about it. I'm not happy that they lost. It's plenty upsetting. I think that there are a lot of people that should have to answer for the strategy and the methods for how they plan to stop this offense for the Dolphins. But you were talking about a Bears team that has the least amount of spending on an active roster in the NFL. And they just went toe-to-toe, save for a few refs, bailing their ass out, with a team that decided to ship off all of its future for Tyreek Hill, to drop a top 7 or maybe it was pick number 6 overall for Jalen Waddle, just traded a future first-round pick for Bradley Chubb, and he was a non-factor. Jalen Phillips, another first-rounder. Christian Wilkins on the front. I can keep going down. Javon Holland, second round out of Oregon. Xavier Howard, 3-time Pro Bowler that just got completely pantsed on Darnell Mooney, and that's a hell of a throw and a route. Like, we can go down the list, and this is the reality is I watched the Chicago Bears swing toe-to-toe with them, and the reason for that is, and this is the one thing I'll end it with, is because this is all about Justin Fields. They are only here because of Justin Fields. Not one time in your entire history of watching Mitchell Trubisky, Nick Foles, Mike Glennon, Cade McNown, you want to go through the list, there's not been a single guy. God, Cordell Stewart, the only guy that was remotely as athletic.
Jordan, you killed me with this list, man. Oh my God!
Like, this is the thing.
You're reminding me of these bad quarterbacks we've had here,
and they've never looked like this. Yes. Can you imagine name your quarterback, your former Bears quarterback that would play in this offense this season, and then tell me what the Bears record would be, what their production would be.
With this core,
I don't want to waste the brain power. I don't want to waste the brain power even thinking about that, Jordan. I'm too excited about living in the present.
And Tyler, let's do it, because you have a guy now that, and this is where, look, I don't know, Tyler, Danny, you guys follow me. You see, I get a lot of shit because I tend to be a little harsh about Getsy or Alan Williams or Ryan Poles. This organization, this regime, took a stark turn for me last week when I saw them say, "Okay, I'm not playing this anymore. We are formally leaving the Bears of the 1980s and beyond in the past. We are going to ship out a little positional value off-ball linebacker and a 32-plus-year-old edge rusher. We are going to reinvest that into our quarterback and say, you know what? If we're going to lose, then fuck it. It's going to, excuse my language, but it's going to be in shootouts, 35 to 40. We are not going to sit there and watch the ship sink, watching this quarterback have his career wasted because we failed to put the pieces around. I wanted Alec Pierce. I wanted George Pickens. That's fine. Didn't get them. At least they are sitting there in the mirror, have enough wherewithal to realize the mistakes that they made, and they are piling talent around Justin Fields as best as they can this year, asking him to stay healthy so that it's bombs away next year, and you're looking at the Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa rise that you're seeing this year with Justin Fields.
Jordan, I like you, dog. Jordan, you are on point, bro. You are on point. I love your analysis. That is super. That is super.
Please, Dan.
Yeah. For you guys, going forward from here on out, would you guys rather have Tua Tagovailoa leading your franchise or Justin Fields?
Oh my God,
Justin Fields.
Danny, I don't know if you saw this. I literally said,
Justin Fields.
Danny, I don't know if you saw it. I literally said, if only Dolphins fans could sit there and imagine what their offense would look like, just swapping out one piece in Tua and Justin Fields. Because
but guess what, guys? But guess what? I didn't say that this week when it was sexy. I said that 6 months ago when NFL Network had the same comparison, and they all picked Tua, and they all picked Tua, and I said Justin Fields for that very same question. And before we wrap up, guys, just real quick, Justin Fields going forward. Just with this team going forward, we got Detroit coming up. All right, this is a prime opportunity. Let's keep it real. We just lost 2 games in a row. All right, we just lost 2 games in a row. I get it. We're not playing for the playoff Super Bowl. I'm like, you play until it's over with. It's not over till it's over. If you get into the playoffs, anything can happen. Truthfully speaking, with a lack of a pass rush, it's hard to move forward in the playoffs without a pass rush. However, I think this is great experience. I don't know if you saw Gibson today breathing because he never had so many snaps in his NFL career before. And so, like, this is great EXP for all of our young players. I think we have about maybe three rookies starting, six second-year players starting today. And so this was a great experience. I'm interested to see if we can come out and roll tide, no pun intended, on Detroit next week that could not beat that actually beat the Packers. That's what I'm looking forward this week going forward. And so, real quick, as we're getting ready to wrap up, Danny, thank you for touching in on the offensive line. I feel like they did a great job keeping Justin clean. I feel like that was the one play Justin took a hop step forward, and he could have kicked back. The block would have been there. Bradley Chubb thought he had a sack, but Justin was like, "No, baby, get off me." And that was just like freaking beautiful. And so, real quick, just want to go around the room real quick with final thoughts because this has been. It feels like we won. I feel like we won, Danny, because I feel like our team took the next step. We took the next step. And Danny, you have been saying this all year long. As long as Justin is growing, we are going in the right direction. And I so freaking agree with you. But I'm just excited because like I'm thinking this is like 2 years down the line. Trusting this regime, trusting this coaching staff, what's going to happen? Because if the wide receiver is open, I feel like Justin's going to get you the ball. And I feel like they're about to do a lot of investing with this offense, with this team in the offseason. But real quick, going around the horn with some last final thoughts about the game next week and everything you else got going on outside of the show. Brother Jordan, let's come to you first.
Yeah, I mean, real quick, I'll try to keep it to 3 quick things. I think Chase Claypool is only going to continue to get a more expanded role. I said it a few times on Twitter and other places when he was acquired. I think he is a piece that drops in, and it's not so much about what he adds specifically, but the things that he unlocks for the players around him. It was an archetype that was desperately missing. I think you saw that today just in the limited opportunities that he had. Justin Fields felt the confidence to go deep in an area where, frankly, N'Keal Harry didn't have the wheels to get to in time before Fields was sitting on his butt. Number 2, I'd like to just see the NFL officiating. This is never going to happen, but I'd like the NFL officiating to legislate defense back into the game. I don't know what else you want defensive backs to do. And then you got all those fancy cameras or rewind cameras. If you see somebody pulling down 6'4", 240 pounds by the waist, like he's, carrying him like a backpack, there's a problem there and you need to call it. Outside of that, got to end with nothing else than saying, Justin Fields, you have arrived. This has been like, Danny, keep those receipts, write them up. Look, I'm all about it. If I'm wrong, go ahead and drown me in it. I deserve it. But this is the thing. If you're going to sit here and spew all that nonsense, please be ready to accept it. And Justin Fields, you've arrived. Cole Kmet, welcome to the NFL and people realizing that you're a legitimate weapon. Mooney, thank Chase Claypool for freeing you up to get a touchdown on one of the best corners in the league. And, oh, by the way, Jalen Phillips, Justin Fields owes you an apology for pantsing you numerous times in the run game. Thank you.
That was awesome. Jordan, you're awesome, dog. Go ahead, Danny.
Yeah, in terms of me, again, 2 weeks in a row, like I said, Tyler, it's a loss, but it feels like a win because Justin and the offense is kind of taking off. And just imagine, guys, he's doing this with the group of receivers he has now and a makeshift offensive line he has now. Once you kind of incorporate and invest in talent around him, I think he's just going to continue to get better and better. Obviously, just health is the main thing there with him. So, and in terms of next week, I mean, obviously Detroit is a team they could win, they should beat them, but Detroit can put points on the board. They got some players on the outside in terms of receiver. They got a running game. So if you're not there defensively and you're going to sell out on the run or just get after Goff, they might light you up there too as well. So the only thing is, can Justin and the offense keep up pace and outscore them? So I think that's the way we're going to have to win games now is just, look for the offense to score points and continue to rely on Fields and the running game to go ahead and make these progress, continue to make progress. And we're going to start putting 40 burgers up on the board, I think, because of the way this defense is playing, unless Allen Williams and Eberflus go into the lab and come up with some sort of secret sauce here to create pressure on the opposing quarterbacks. But, like I said, I said earlier in the show, this offense continues its trajectory upwards and do what they're doing the last couple of weeks, last 3 weeks. I think the only teams that I right now on our schedule off the top of my head, guys, is Buffalo and Philadelphia. I'm like, they have a trouble time, beating those guys. But if defensively they can step up and, like I said, limit their opponent to under 24 points, I think this team is going to be able to put points on you, and then they're going to be able to get some victories there for you. So hats off, and I'm now just looking forward to next week. Hopefully, come out with a victory.
Awesome, Danny. Awesome, brother Danny. And then just quick final thoughts. The freaking Chicago Bears. I mean, I feel a lot of people didn't expect this kind of a boxing match today, so to speak. I feel like we wake up and we feel like we take every drive. We're trying to score every drive. We're not playing down. And Danny, what we don't do next week, I hope we don't play down to Detroit's level. I hope we stay above and competitive. Try to score every single drive. That's what I'm looking forward to. This team has me excited. This team has me pumped. I think I'm actually about to go back to the gym right now myself because I feel like I could do some more work. But I'm just like so happy to see young men come together in a cohesive unit and put a great pride on the field at home in Chicago with the best fans in the country, just deserving. You go through the bad to appreciate the good. Okay, like to be a Super Bowl contender and just like we're rising with this team. And like remember, Jalen Hurts, they were calling him a bust or a bum a year or so ago too. Okay, and so Philadelphia put some pieces in place. There was a lot of question marks in Philly last year. Okay, next season, that's all I'm saying. Next season, 2 seasons from now, honestly, 2 seasons from now, 2024 Bears. I mean, I'm really excited to see how much young talent is going to be added to this team next year with this coaching staff in place, and I'm truly, truly, truly excited about it. Going around the horn, but real quick, Jordan, I'm gonna come back to you. Give a shout out to your other things you got going on, brother. Your shows and everything else you got going on, bro.
Yes, sir, Tyler. I appreciate it. You can find me Jordan T. Silveira on Twitter. I post a 10 takeaways thread. It's pretty in depth. I do it live tweeting throughout the game. I build it up and then send it out. 10 takeaways. You can find that on Twitter at Jordan T. Silveira. Bare Necessities on Barroom Network is on a break at the moment. I'm currently sick. You probably hear me nasally. We'll try to get back to it ASAP. Just other than that, scouting college prospects so that eventually, hopefully, I can talk to Danny and Neil sometime when Draft on Tap comes back. But I love always hosting these and getting back with you fine gentlemen. And it's a loss. It's not what we want, but there's so much positive to take. And if I could end with one final thing for yourselves, the Barflies, anybody that listens to this, even on demand after, there is always something to glean in every single football game. Do not box score scout. Do not worry about the final score. Actually consume the game, view the plays, view the all 22, try to understand the little intricacies that are there all around. Al Pacino, any given Sunday, the inches are everywhere. You just got to find them. So try to find a way to glean that. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome. Brother Danny, you want to give a shout out to the future Draft on Tap, bro?
Yeah, Draft on Tap just was with Neil yesterday, and we were talking about it possibly early return in December. We'll see how that works out, but that's the tentative date right now in terms of when we're going to come back. And obviously, we'll be looking heavily into this draft class and looking at the Bears and all 8 picks, and probably have more than 8 picks once the draft is all final and said and done. So that's something we're looking into. I'm not breaking down the tapes on some of these prospects now, just getting overall glance and feel and view for some of these players that are going to be eligible for next year's draft. And obviously, doing here at Bear Football and with John and Tyler here on a weekly basis after each and every Bears game. And then I'm also doing, Bear Truth here. We're going to breaking down some tape here. We did a show earlier on Justin Fields, probably another show coming up within a week or two. So, keep an eye out for that. We'll obviously post that and let you guys know when that's going to become available. And met a bunch of the Barflies here yesterday in terms of our get together, and love the Barflies. They're there and they're there and just, giving us all the support that they gave us, and truly appreciate it. Thank you much to everyone who listens to all of our shows, and stick here to the barroom because we got this team covered.
Tyler,
outstanding. Absolutely. I'm here at the Barroom Network from Chicago Bulls, the Sox to Cubs, Black Hawks, Chicago Fire, even the Chicago Sky. We got you covered here at the Barroom Network. Shout out to Aldo Gandia, and another shout out to John Buffone, my brother. But check him out on Buffone 55 every Wednesday, I believe. And you guys know me, your modern day entrepreneur. I'm going back to Mombasa, Kenya, coming up again in this coming March 8th to the March 18th. If you got, we're helping over 3,000 kids get access to education, healthcare. We actually just sent over 70 computers teaching kids in Mombasa, Kenya how to code. If We give sponsorships. $150 helps the kids get tuition and clothes for a whole year. You all want to help me help these kids? You can go to mabasarelief.org. That is phenomenal. Or if you're about sports nutrition and you want some help, you can go to gamesondeck.com. 80% of the profit from my sports nutrition business helps me get these kids. And we just actually just sponsored 10 more kids from Mombasa, and we're sending kids from high school all the way up to college, and it's truly, truly impactful. Games on Deck, where the games don't stop. But at the Barroom Network, this is where we bear down, whether we win, lose, or draw. And so stay tuned with us. We'll be back with you all next week. And then bear down.
Bear down, everybody.